Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am your host, Charles, and you're watching Say About Children TV. Please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on post notifications on. Please make sure you hit that cash app, money sign capital CPA 106. That's again, money sign capital CPA 106. Today I have 6 stories for you guys, but first I'm going to give you a bonus story. And a bonus story today is about a teen who just turned 19. She was convicted when she was 18. She faces life in prison after conviction for throwing lye on sleeping dad, causing fatal chemical burns. A Michigan woman is facing life in prison after being convicted of throwing lye on her father 2 years ago, ultimately causing his death 5 months ago. 5 months later, a Michigan jury found Megan Joyce Amorozix, 19, guilty last week on charges of domestic violence and unlawful possession of a use of harmful devices, irritants causing death, according to a release from the Office of the Prosecuting Attorney of Oakland County. The conviction stems from an incident that occurred on October 1st, 2021, when the teen's father, 64-year-old Kennard Amorozis, who allegedly had issues with the alcohol, was drunk and unable to drive her to the hair salon shortly before her party to celebrate her 18th birthday. NBC News reported Megan Van allegedly decided to throw a mixture of lye powder, a chemical drain cleaner, and water on his sleeping father in the Groveland Township home, which led to his hospitalization with chemical burns for 5 months until he died on March 6, 2022, after being put off life support, according to the release. Megan and Russell's Oakland County jail photo. Fat Miller, the convicted woman's attorney, pointed out his closing arguments that the victim told investigators that he did not know who committed the attack, adding that Kennard's blood alcohol level was allegedly 4 times the legal limit to drive. She was convicted by a 12-person jury after the verdict, and she's now awaiting. Okay, so Megan will learn if she received life behind bars at her sentencing, which is scheduled for July 25th. Excuse me. We're going to get to the news video, and then I'm going to give you my closing thoughts after the news video. Give me just 1 second. This is what I want to say about this video, this story. I want to say that to, you were 18 at the time. You turn 19 and you're convicted. You have to think to yourself too, was it worth it? Because not only did you not go to your 19th, attend your 19th birthday party, but you killed your father over him not taking you to a salon intoxicated under the influence of alcohol. And at the end of the day, man, you could have postponed the party. You could have the day before your party. You had ample time to go to the salon to get everything done before the party, before your party. And I think that women think that they can just push a person over. And it's like at the end of the day, you can make your own rational decision. Why would you put your father, or why would you want to put your father in that position to take you while he's intoxicated? That means you're putting not just his life because he's intoxicated and in danger, but you're putting the public's life in danger. You put innocent children's lives in danger because if you drive drunk, hit a car, kill a child, okay, somebody because he's driving drunk, guess what? Not just him liable, but you could be liable because you forced him to drive intoxicated. So people are gonna understand this. It's not worth it. It ain't worth the prison sentence. She could have postponed it. She could have scheduled it. She could have pushed it up a day ahead. Anything. You have to kill your father because you was upset that he didn't take you to the salon because he was intoxicated. That makes no sense. It makes no sense. And I think she did her prison time. And people gotta start taking this stuff serious. You see what I'm saying? You see something, say something. Give the victim's family your thoughts and prayers. We're gonna move on to our next story. We have an updated story. 6-year-old Daniel Soto was found safe. We want to thank everyone who, you know, searched and thanks to those who found him safe and sound. And we're glad to report that he's found safe and returned home. The next story takes us to Louisville. Louisville, Kentucky man is arrested after a 6-year-old girl is shot in the back. This is a suspect right there. If you can see, a black man. Police arrested a Louisville man who they say was found with a gun near the scene of a road rage shooting that ended with a 6-year-old girl shot in the back. According to court documents, 33-year-old Jonathan Rivera was arrested by the Louisville Metro Police Department on Tuesday afternoon. He has not been charged in connection with the shooting of the 6-year-old. On Monday night, police were investigating an alleged road rage incident between a vehicle and three motorcycles and span an 8-mile stretch of Interstate 65 North from the outer loop to Woodbine Street. Police said all along the stretch, at least 15 rounds were fired from at least three different weapons. Police said the vehicle and motorcycles continued down a highway where another altercation happened on the off ramp to University Boulevard. More shots were fired at the vehicle, which was hit several times. That's when the 6-year-old girl was hit. Police said the girl, the daughter of the driver of the vehicle, was shot in the back. He said she was taken to North Children's Hospital for surgery as of Tuesday afternoon. She was in critical but stable condition. According to court documents by police who investigated at the scene, they made contact with Rivera. Police say he had a handgun in his waistband and that handgun matched several shell casings at the scene. Rivera is a convicted felon. He is a convicted felon who is not supposed to be in possession of a handgun. He was charged with possession of a handgun by a convicted felon. He has not been charged in connection with the shooting of a 6-year-old. A spokesperson for LMPD said the agency's non-federal shooting squad was continuing to wait to identify what his role was in Monday night's shooting incident. Anyone who was on the road at the time may have witnessed either incidents asked to call LMPD's anonymous contact line as 502-574-5673 to be submitted on the department's contact portal by clicking here. Now, my thing is this: if they say that the casings from his gun match, that should be a conviction right there. Not a conviction. That should be a charge right there. If them bullets match that gun, that's all you need. He used that gun to shoot during a road rage. So by the hell, he's not charged with assault, intent to kill, attempted murder. You have so many charges you could throw it at. Let me read another one. Family of 6-year-old girl hurt in Louisville railway shooting says she may never walk again. I'm going to play the news video. Here's the news video.
Say a young girl injured in a shooting on I-65 in Louisville may never walk again. A family friend says 6-year-old Onyx was in a car with her father and a sibling when she was shot in the back. Police believe that there was an altercation between Onyx's dad and a group of motorcyclists. Right now, no one has been charged with the shooting. The family says the bullet severed Onyx's spine. A GoFundMe has been set up to help the little girl and her mother.
What led to a 6-year-old being shot during what police say was a road rage altercation.
Metro Police tell us there was an altercation between 3 motorcyclists and a car. This happened in the St. Joseph neighborhood off I-65 and University Boulevard near U of L's campus. Jim Stratman is live this morning at that scene to walk us through what happened. Jim, really a tough situation this morning.
Yeah, a very tough situation this morning, Haley, and we are still working to get some details on on the condition of the person that was shot, the child that was shot last night. We know that it all really happened or culminated right behind me. This intersection, you can see the ramp to I-65 here at University Boulevard. That's where police say that a group of three motorcyclists, and a car were involved in a shooting incident last night around 8 o'clock. We're told that the car was struck multiple times with bullets. A 6-year-old girl was inside that car. She was shot as well. She was taken to Norton Children's Hospital. Now, I said that this is where everything kind of culminated, but it's not where it started. In fact, Louisville Metro Police say that the entire incident began actually further down I-65, on I-65 at the outer loop. They say that at that point, three motorcyclists in a car had gotten into an initial altercation. Shots were fired in that altercation, and that incident just continued up I-65 until they eventually got to the exit ramp here at University Boulevard. We're told that when the driver of that car realized that the girl had been shot, he got right back on the interstate and rushed to Norton Children's Hospital, where she immediately went into surgery. LMPD Major Minnie Vance said last night in no uncertain terms that any kind of incident like this is just unacceptable.
I mean, I think I've made it pretty clear that this, again, was a senseless act of violence. It's absolutely reprehensible and it's inexcusable. Violence such as this.
LMPD told us the three motorcyclists were detained last night for questioning. A preliminary investigation showed that this was not a situation where both parties were shooting at each other. Police believe that it was just the motorcyclists who were shooting at the car. Now, as of this morning, we did receive an LMPD update this morning. No update on the condition to the girl who's in the hospital. We're told that Norton crews were caring for her throughout the night. We've also not heard anything about any arrests being made in this case. That's all something that we will continue to look into as the day continues.
All right. How many times do I talk about on my channel, and other YouTubers talked about, and this is just awful. And this ain't the first time I covered this story about a road rage with children been shot at. If you remember, there was a father who was arrested, I believe, stepping in Florida, and he was shooting on a road rage incident, and two young girls were shot. And at the end of the day, as long as road rage is not classified as a crime and it's classified as assault, then you're going to continue seeing people out here continue committing that same crime. And in my opinion, in all cities and states, even in the country, I believe road rage should be a crime in itself. If you commit road rage, that should be a felony charge. Felony road rage, resulting in either assault, resulting in injury, or resulting in death. Because at the end of the day, we'll continue seeing innocent children being shot. You have to ask yourself, why are you shooting at a vehicle when you don't know for yourself, Mr. Criminal, that there's a child in the vehicle? This man is a convicted felon who should have never had a gun. And so my opinion is, and you have to ask yourself, is where did he get that gun from? If he knew he couldn't get that gun. He's a convicted felon. That means somebody on the streets gave him that gun. And whoever gave him that gun needs to catch some charges. Because if you had not gave him that gun, that child won't be injured. He could have killed that child. Remember, they said she may never walk again. She was shot in the back, in the spine. Her spine was severed in half. If you are injured, if your spine is injured, broken, any of that, you can die. And this man have not been yet charged in this railway shooting. How much evidence do you need to lock him up for this? Yeah, just said that gun matched the rounds at the scene. It's not that hard. And he should have a long time ago been off the streets. Again, when we put evil on the streets, then our children suffers behind it. And so, my opinion is that that guy should have been in prison a long time ago. And Louisville made a big mistake by releasing him back on the streets, knowing how dangerous he was. But again, the system is broken. So it's up to people like us to vote, legislation, go to council meetings, talk to the head of the board. We got to get these people off our streets. Because if they want to shoot children in a low age, then guess what? They want to shoot a grandmother, a grandfather, someone's cousin, someone's brother, someone's sister, someone's mother, someone's father. I've seen it plenty of times. And so I think that there needs to be a law in place. If you commit a road rage, it's a felony. And if you commit it more than one time, it should be a federal offense. Because at the end of the day, you don't understand what impact that could do on a person. That could carry trauma on the victim. But that victim family is gonna have that pain for the rest of their life. Their child may never walk again. Imagine hearing that from the doctors. Your 6-year-old daughter may never walk again. May never walk again. And that's who you don't see. Community leaders who should be walking in Louisville protesting, very upset about this. Because how did he get access to a gun? And why is he out of jail? Know that he's a convicted felon. So at the end of the day, what are we really giving these convicted people? He's a convicted felon. But he must be convicted of a serious crime. And the fact that he got an opportunity to get out of jail and then commit a road age on a 6-year-old is beyond me. Louisville, y'all gonna take a big, big L. Y'all need to really think about who y'all release back on the streets. And if y'all know y'all arresting these people over and over again, they don't learn, that's what it's time to do. Lock that ass up. No more talk. On to the next day. Keep the 6-year-old victim and her family in thoughts and prayers. And let's pray that this family get justice. This was attempted murder by any means. The way you shoot somebody in the back, that's intent. You intend to hurt someone. So let's move on. Let's see. Another positive story I'm going to talk about. 6-year-old Atticus Whitlock was swimming at his grandparents' house when his 2-year-old brother Anson slipped into the pool. I saw something on top of the water and had my goggles on. Atticus Whitlock said, I don't know what it was, so I went under and it was Edison. 6-year-old saves younger brother life in Carolina. Things happened in Carolina. So let's give a round of applause to the story and to the brother who saved the 6-year-old who saved his 2-year-old brother in the swimming pool. That's amazing. And I like to put in good stories too. So it's another good story, and I just wanted to show my appreciation by talking about that story. Now, this story here, I need all parents to the front of the Congress. You might want to hear about this story. You might want to think twice about leaving your children alone after this. For those who don't know how to monitor your children the right way, you might want to study after I read this. I'm on ABC News. Here we go. 6-year-old Florida girl fights off abductor and escapes by biting his arm, authorities said. Leonardo Vangas, 32 of Miami, was arrested on charges of kidnapping and child abuse, causing no good bodily harm, court records show. A 6-year-old girl was abducted and briefly held captive last week at a Miami apartment complex, but managed to get away by biting her attacker's arm, authorities said. The girl was allegedly kidnapped Thursday as she was in the complex courtyard with siblings when they noticed a white SUV parked near the apartment, according to an arrest affidavit obtained Tuesday by NBC News. The 6-year-old stayed outside while others went inside, and that's when she was grabbed, the affidavit said. She stated that she was suddenly grabbed by the arm and pulled toward the rear of the stairs. The victim began to fight back and pulled away from the defendant. The defendant then picked up the victim and began carrying her away, according to the affidavit. The victim bit the defendant on the arm, causing him to drop her. The defendant slapped the victim and ran away towards the front of the apartment complex. The affidavit said the victim ran around the building towards the front to her aunt, but it just occurred. Leonardo Venegas, 32, Miami, was later identified as a suspect, and police said he was arrested on charges of kidnapping and child abuse causing no great bodily harm. Vegas was arrested Saturday, according to the affidavit in Miami-Dade jail records. Vegas was still in jail Tuesday. He was held on no bond when the kidnapping charge was also placed on an immigration and customs enforcement hold, jail records showed. A public defender listed as his attorney and online records couldn't immediately be reached for comment Tuesday afternoon. The child's mother could be reached for comment Tuesday. The child's mother couldn't be reached for comment Tuesday. The alleged victim, a lyric, told NBC, "I bit him." She said she learned the self-defense tactic from her mother. Her mom, Tisha McGill, told NBC Miami, "I'm glad she knows how to fight back." According to the affidavit, security cameras captured the right Range Rover parked near the apartment complex shortly before the child was grabbed. Vegas is seen on cameras walking toward the rear of the complex. Shortly afterward, he is seen on camera running towards the parking lot. The Range Rover is seen then leaving this apartment complex. The girl identified her attacker through images captured on video, the affidavit said. Police were able to identify the Range Rover through security cameras that captured the license plate. Police found the Range Rover on Saturday, and Banks agreed to speak to investigators on a taped interview, the affidavit said. He said that he told investigators he was the driver of the Range Rover in question, and that he also placed himself near the scene of the abduction, but that he said he was still looking for a house to buy. The affidavit said, however, that the complex is Department of Housing and Urban Development supported housing, and there are no for sale signs. Vengas also identified himself as the man seen in a security video walking in an apartment complex, and he said that he ran away when he heard someone screaming, the affidavit said. Vengas invoked his right to an attorney, the affidavit said, when investigators asked him about the interaction with the 6-year-old girl. Here is the news video. And then I'm gonna give my comment.
You bit him? Yeah. And where'd you learn to do that?
From my mommy.
From your mom? You bite him hard?
No.
No. 6-year-old Lyric doing what her mother said.
Glad she knew how to fight back.
Well, where'd she learn that?
From her mama.
That'd be you, ma'am. Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes it is.
They'll say Lyric was attacked by Leonardo Venegas, seen on surveillance video, first lurking behind the family's apartment building. Police say plotting and targeting the kids. Moments later, seen running away after a lyric beat him back. So, what happened?
This young lady, the victim, was playing outside her home when the subject, Mr. Venegas, approached her, grabbed her, and started carrying her away into his vehicle. The young victim was able to fight Mr. Venegas off, striking him several times.
Venegas drove north on Biscayne Boulevard, leaving that apartment complex, and then drove right by this license plate reader. Police had a vehicle description. It was a white sport utility vehicle. Investigators identified that vehicle and linked it to the driver. The incident happened right outside the family's apartment on 65th Street and Northeast 2nd Avenue last Thursday. Police spent several days investigating, identified Venegas' SUV, and then took him into custody.
Just protect your kids and look over them. Keep a close eye on them because anything can happen in the blink of an eye.
Okay, that mother makes a good point. Keep an eye on the children. Anything happen, they can bear eye. So I'm gonna ask you, mother, why was it okay for you to leave your child outside alone? Florida, number one, is a dangerous place to leave anybody out by themselves. Florida, we're talking about Florida. And I can name you more states and cities. Excuse me. I can name you more states and cities that are dangerous. And the reason why you shouldn't leave your children out alone. And at the end of the day, yes, you can teach your children a lesson about stranger danger and self-defense. But mother, seriously, why would you leave your child outside? A 6-year-old. There should have been an adult. There should have been an adult out there supervising. Because it could have turned out way worse. Way worse. Because imagine he had an accomplice. And they get out the vehicle, snatch the child up, throw her in the vehicle, get back in the vehicle, speed off. You will never see your child again. This should be a lesson learned to you, mother. Be aware. Because on this channel and on multiple other channels, cases like this, where children been abducted, turn out way worse. They've been found dead in horrible places. And so, mother, I just ask you to be more vigilant and aware. And if you're going to allow your child to be outside, maybe you should have an adult outside monitoring, supervising, because it could be considered neglect in most cases when you allow your child to be alone for many, many hours outside of no supervision. That's the law. So I'm trying to reason down. And I think that this should wake more parents up to parents who allow their children to be by themselves at that age and younger. Please, if you have children, I urge you to look up criminals who have abducted children before and study that and think about twice. Think twice about leaving your children outside because it can end real bad for you, real bad. You made a big mistake because that child was not supervised. That child could have been snatched up and never seen again. And you could have paid the ultimate price for it. So, this is a wake up call. There should be a wake up call. Yes, you might have taught your child some moves, but guess what? Children still get abducted each and every day, whether they know self defense or not. So, it's just up to you to be aware. It is up to you to be aware. Florida is a dangerous place. State of Florida is a dangerous place to leave children out alone. I'm telling you, you do not want to do that. And you live in an apartment complex. You definitely don't want to do that. I bet you would think twice now, leaving your child out alone. I bet you. Even if your child was out playing, you should have been out monitoring your child. That's how I feel about it. So anybody who have children, if you can't monitor your children, they don't have them outside by themselves. End of the story. We're glad to report that she's okay. We got to report that, this person was arrested, but, it could have turned out way worse. I'm gonna give the mother a B because I think she could have, protected her child more than she was doing. I think she should have put, somebody outside and watched the child. What was more important inside than outside? The child outside alone. Seriously. All right, let's move on. These next two stories, be aware, they are really graphic, gruesome, and if you cannot handle these next two stories, I urge you to click off, come back later. But you may want to listen to these stories, these next two stories. You may just want to listen. 12-year-old girl in Detroit, so Detroit taking an L. 12-year-old girl is charged for attacking and throwing acid on a 11-year-old girl. So 12-year-old throwing acid on an 11-year-old girl during an argument at a park and got to see about the acid for the child. The mother. We're on WXYZ. Let's talk about it. 12-year-old girl is charged for attacking an 11-year-old with acid at a Detroit park. Wayne prosecutor Kim Worthy has charged a 12-year-old girl in connection to the July 9th assault of an 11-year-old girl with acid at a local Detroit park. This is an extremely troubling set of allegations, a stunt horrible decision, making have lifelong effects on others. There is no excuse for this, said prosecutor Kim Worthy. The juvenile has been charged with assault with intent to do great bodily harm and felony assault. The juvenile suspect was in court Saturday for a preliminary hearing. She was given a $10,000 bond with a teether and was also ordered to not have any contact with the victim or any witnesses. On July 18th at 1:30 p.m., the juvenile will be back in court for a hearing before referee Wanda Call. And we've been one article. I'm playing this video for you guys. Girl struggles to walk after vicious acid attack in Detroit playground. An 11-year-old girl was left with chemical burns so severe that she struggles to walk after a 12-year-old girl allegedly dosed her with an unidentified acid at a Detroit, Michigan playground. The victim told local news outlets. The 12-year-old, who has not been named publicly, has been charged with one count of assault with intent to do great bodily harm and one count of felony assault. Wayne County Prosecutor Office confirmed to Newsweek via email on Sunday night. She appeared in court for a preliminary hearing on Saturday. She was given $8 on the bond in order to have no contact with the victim and any of the witnesses, according to a press release sent to Newsweek from the prosecutor's office. This is an extremely troubling set of allegations, Prosecutor Karen Worthy said in a statement. Instant verbal decision making and lifelong effects on others, there was no excuse for this. The victim, 11-year-old Daira Summers, said to local media outlets that she was at a Verner Elementary School playground. I'm going to repeat that again. She was at a Verner Elementary School playground on July 9th with her siblings and cousin. The cousin got into an argument with a 12-year-old girl. Someone said she was not involved in the fight that led to the 12-year-old allegedly tossing a substance on her, which caused second and third-degree burns on her back, legs, and arms. I felt like there should be consequences because I didn't do nothing to that girl, Summers said. The victim's family said they blamed the 12-year-old's mother for giving the girl the substance used in the attack. Summers said to WDIV that she saw the 12-year-old's mother meet her daughter near the park to give the girl a bottle filled with liquid, which Summers' family believed to be some sort of acid. Summers said Summers and her mother recently spoke to Fox 2 and WSAZ about the incident and the girl's recovery. Dominic Summers, the victim's mother, said hospital staff who treated her daughter were unable to identify the substance that caused the 11-year-old severe chemical burns. The prosecutor's office referred to the substance as acid, and this was sent to Newsweek on Sunday night, saying prosecutor Kim Worthy has charged a 2-year-old girl in connection with assaulting an 11-year-old girl with acid. Dominic Summers told Fox 2 that the 2-year-old's mother said to the kids after the alleged attack, "That's what they get for messing with her daughter." The 11-year-old told local media outlets that she felt instant pain, and she said she ripped off her shirt as she ran home, saying that identified acid burned through her clothing. 2 seconds later, it started like burning and went through my shorts. Summers told WSAZ on July 14th, "I was screaming and I was crying." While the 11-year-old is outside the hospital recovering at home, she said that her injuries still hurt a lot. The burns have also led to difficulty walking. Summers said her mom said the identified acid caused smoke to come off her daughter's body from head to toe. Holes were coming in her clothes. She said from there, Daira was rushed to a hospital with severe burns. After the checkup, she learned she had second and third degree burns down her back. Deborah Golston, who identified herself as Summers' grandmother on a GoFundMe page that's raising money for the girl's medical expenses, so the girl is recovering from the Hands Act. Golston, who said her granddaughter was an innocent bystander, alleged that the 12-year-old suspect's mother brought the acid for her daughter to retaliate after the fight with Summers' cousin. In the aftermath of the altercation, Summers' grandmother said the girl dropped her purse in her effort to flee. She returned for her purse and was then doused with acid by an older teenager. Golston said the area had second and third degree burns from her back to her and spent 4 days in the burn unit at Children's Hospital. She's lucky to be alive, but was still in the ongoing care to fully heal from all wounds she incurred. In the plea for donations, Golston said in addition to the medical expenses, Summers' family may face moving costs as they consider relocating since the suspect is able to post bond and her mother has not been arrested. The 12-year-old's next court appearance is July 18th, according to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. Mamma mia. All right, let's go to the news video. I have a lot to say about this story. And there should be a plea out there in Detroit. That mother needs to be arrested for condoning that behavior and throwing having her daughter throw that on that child like that. That was ag assault. That was ag assault. Here's the video right here. Give me a second.
I was screaming and I was...
Hold on. Let me back this up because let me see. Okay, let's put that down. So here's the video. I'm sorry again.
I was screaming and I was crying.
When we spoke with 11-year-old De'Ara Summers on Thursday, she said she couldn't understand why or how this happened. She just knows she spent 3 days in children's hospital to mend her wounds after another child threw acid on her back.
It was like real painful because like my legs was burning.
All of this coming after her cousin had a playground fight with a girl who told the girls bad things could happen if you mess with her. De'Ara wasn't even involved in the fight.
It's unbelievable that something like this can happen.
Billy Summers is De'Ara's grandfather, and while he worked to open his restaurant, Roscoe's Greens and Beans in Highland Park on Sunday morning, he had her on his mind.
It hurts my heart deeply. I mean, because no child, or no person, for that aspect, deserve nothing like this. I mean, an 11-year-old child.
He says he's happy to see an arrest in the case. The arrested child now not allowed back on the playground, instead confined to a home wearing a tether. Yet Billy wants an adult arrested too because it's alleged the mother of that child provided the acid.
No, I can't imagine that. That's the same thing as saying giving them a gun, a knife. That's a weapon. I mean, what adult would do that?
All right, let's go to the next one. Give me a second.
Hurts a lot.
A trip to a school playground on Sunday, July 9th, has now left an 11-year-old traumatized and in lots of pain.
My cousin and the girl, they had started fighting. And then once they got done fighting, she was like, I got something for y'all.
That something was a substance believed to be acid.
Her mother met her in the park, by the park, and gave her the substance, the chemical, to throw on the kids. And she told the kids that's what they get for messing with her daughter.
All the kids were able to scatter quickly, avoiding harm, but De'Ara Summers soon realized she left her purse, went back to grab it, putting her in harm's way.
2 seconds after it hit me, it just like started burning.
De'Ara's brother was also at the park and called home to tell his mom what he saw.
Smoke was coming off her body from head to toe, and holes were coming in her clothes. And he said that they were all running home from the park.
De'Ara was rushed to a local hospital with severe burns.
I had 3rd and 2nd degree all the way from my back down.
De'Ara is also having difficulties walking, and her mom is so emotionally overwhelmed. She has difficulties working.
No sleep, no eating, no nothing. Because I have to make sure my daughter's needs are met.
The family has started a GoFundMe account to help pay for the unexpected medical bills. Now, this family wants justice.
I'm really bothered by the fact that the suspects are still walking around freely.
Detroit police tell Fox 2 it's not their case because it took place on the property of a Detroit Public Schools Community District playground, and therefore DPSCD police are investigating. We reached out to DPSCD and are told police are still investigating. They also released a statement which reads in part, "The incident did not involve our employees or was it connected to a district or school event. This is a community matter involving 2 families that do not both attend our school district or the school." As this mom fights for justice, she says she's also fighting to make sure her daughter does not become depressed.
I just give her words of encouragement, let her know she's still beautiful. This is just a minor setback for a major comeback. She's gonna come off on top and justice will be served.
In Detroit, Ingrid Kelly, Fox 2 News.
One more video, and I'm gonna give my opinion.
We're hearing from the little girl who allegedly suffered a horrific acid attack at the hands of another child. The Wayne County prosecutor charged the suspect on Saturday with assault with intent to do great bodily harm and felonious assault. 7 Action News reporter Darren Cunningham spoke with the girl and her mother this evening on what they'd like to see happen next.
What happened here to De'Ara Summers has scarred her both mentally and physically. Despite that, she's found the strength to tell her story with the hopes the person responsible for the attack receives the justice they deserve.
How does a child even think to bring acid to a park.
Dominique Summers says a gripe between two kids at the playground outside Verner Elementary carried over from one day to the next, with her daughter De'Ara getting caught in the middle. Last Sunday, while playing at the park with her siblings and cousins, De'Ara became the victim of an acid attack, suffering second and third degree burns on her back and other parts of her body.
You don't know what you did there. I feel like it was the most evil thing you could do to a kid, and especially the fact that she was a innocent bystander.
She says the rift was between one of De'Ara's cousins and a 12-year-old girl. The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office charged the 12-year-old on Saturday.
I hope she get what she deserved, and they all get what they deserve.
In addition to the emotional toll, De'Ara's mother says life for the past week has changed drastically.
It takes me about 2 hours just to give her what used to be maybe 20 minutes getting dressed. It takes 2 hours to give her medicine. I have to give her her medication 30 minutes before she takes a bath.
And changing her bandages. To cover medical costs, including surgery and counseling needs, the family is depending on a GoFundMe and a fundraiser at De'Ara's grandfather's restaurant, Roscoe's Beans and Greens, on Woodward in Highland Park.
My grandbaby, I mean, how's she gonna feel going back to school? How's she gonna feel going on a playground again? How's she gonna adjust to third-degree burns?
All charges have been levied against the
Bill
alleged
Summers and the
attacker.
family.
Summers says he's convinced the idea.
I will see this thing too. I will go get the biggest lawsuit against that child and that child mother. Don't play with me. Don't play with mine. Biggest lawsuit. Because at the end of the day, you know, this is a lawsuit case.
Suspect is due back in court Tuesday afternoon.
Emotional distress, you got damages, go ahead. Medical bills. Time to be able to be paying me. All right, my closing thoughts about time. Turn it back around here. All right, this is my closing remarks about that particular story. The only way I knew about this story, because I never knew about the story, I downloaded the news feed, the news app. In fact, on my phone, and I didn't pull it up. Let me tell you what it's called. So you know, usually I get confused. It's called, let's see, Newsbreak. So it's called Newsbreak. That's the app that I downloaded. I'm gonna say this because I think that mother needs to be charged. And what pisses me off is that where is the community people at, man? The community leaders. They should be angry about this. They should be walking down the streets and asking, not even asking, I think about pleading with the police to arrest this mother who brought this chemical, deadly chemical, to this playground. You brought this to a playground where children are playing at. What sense does that make? You see what I'm saying? What sense does that make? You put children in danger by bringing poisonous acid to a park. Hell, acid is a poisonous substance. It can kill you if it splashes in the right place. People have died from having acid, a bunch of it on them. It eats up your body. And at the end of the day, the police need to take this serious. This could be considered bullying. It could be considered so many things. Because what point does it make? And for that mother who brought that acid to the park, remember, you brought an acid to the park to give to your 12-year-old child. I don't understand. To a certain 11-year-old, does that even make sense? Come on, people. This is why mothers are not celebrity parents. They're just not. And fathers make better parents. You will never see a father just give their child acid. That doesn't make sense. This mother needs to be in jail. She needs to be in the Wayne County jail if you thought this was appropriate. This child nearly was paralyzed. And at the end of the day, to the advice to the victim's mother, I will be going down to the nearest courthouse with a lawsuit. Y'all need to be compensated. Personal injury, medical bills, all of that. You can sue in court. And you still get justice. Because that mother needs to be arrested. And I hope the police, like I said, throw the book. Because this could be classified as attempted murder. Because when you throw a deadly substance on someone and it eats up their body, that's what it's called. Attempted murder. It's called ag assault with intent to do bodily harm. You intended for someone to be hurt or killed. And again, I believe, in my opinion, these children were not monitored at this park. Because if we're fighting at a park, you can just already tell where the parents at. And how do you allow your children at the park alone at the age of 11 and at the age of 12 and younger? These children needs to be monitored because things like this can happen. And it should have never happened. And at the end of the day, the prosecutor is so damn dumb in Wayne County. You so damn dumb because the evidence shows it proved that this mother brought this to the park to give to her child. This is your child, ma'am. Your baby. You give me your baby. You took your baby. Acid. Who does that? Are you stuck on stupid? That should be child endangerment. You gonna give a child poison to throw someone because of an argument? That makes no sense. Some of these parents need their heads knocked off their shoulders. If you think this is how you raise your child, if that's how you solve an issue, you need not to be a parent. You give up your rights. You could have killed a child. You could have. Because imagine an acid going over her face into her mouth, her throat, and it closed her and it burned her airways. It burned her throat. It's called smoke inhalation. Common sense, people. You have a disagreement about something, you argue with someone, the best thing to do is walk away. You don't go get your mother. You don't bring acid to the party. You don't use daily substance to get what you want. How does that? And this mother, clearly, you can just tell, allow her child to do just anything. And I'm pretty sure that CPS is getting involved in this case. I'm pretty sure about that. That victim's the suspect's mother. Sorry, the suspect mother. I'm pretty sure it's my CPS knocking at her door. Because somebody shut her head was gonna call. Could you put that child in danger? And I believe that child needs to be removed from your household. You are a danger to children. If you allow your children to walk around with acid, common sense will have to tell you that acid is one of the deadliest poison. It is poison. That's what acid is. It's a poison. You give your child poison to throw on someone. And what pisses me off more is that this is what pisses people off. I'm turning around again. I want y'all to look at this picture, and these two pictures. That should make people want to walk the streets of Detroit and demand justice and demand this mother be prosecuted. Looking at these pictures. is what angers me because this mother is walking freely after giving her child substance that caused someone to be injured and almost paralyzed. And for what reason does the prosecutor will not think about prosecuting this mother? This mother needs to be prosecuted, and I hope sooner or later that will happen. Sooner or later, that mother needs to face charges. It's unacceptable. You're mad and upset. You're gonna bring your acid to a party to give to your child. That's dumb. With let's gonna pray that this child gets the justice she deserves. We also wish her well on the recovery, and we also hope and pray that this mother is charged for bringing this acid to this park to give to a child. We demand that criminal charges are brought against the mother who thought it was okay to bring acid to a park with children and then run and leave the purse behind at the scene. That would make sense. Like common sense would have told you. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Let's move on. Our next story. Mother admits to killing her 3-year-old daughter with her bare hands and smiling in a mugshot. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna show you this. I know. Look at her mugshot. She's just smiling after you just killed your child. How is that funny? I don't think it's funny. I think it's demon. You have a demon. Why are you like? Mom who admitted to killing her 3-year-old with her bare hands was smiling the entire time CPR was performed on the victim, police say. Someone Law and Crime Network. Mom who admitted to killing 3-year-old with her bare hands was smiling the entire time CPR was performed on a victim. A 27-year-old mother in Minnesota, Texas Ale, was arrested after she allegedly admitted to suffocating her 3-year-old daughter to death because the little girl would not stop crying. Surad Muhammad Ali, who authorities say smiled the entire time medics are trying to revive her daughter, was taken into custody on Tuesday and charged with one count of first-degree murder while committing child abuse, court was reviewed by Law and Crime Show. According to a probable cause affidavit, officers with the Pelican Rapids Police Department at about 9:38 p.m. On July 10th, responded to a call about an unresponsive 3-year-old at a home located in 300 block of River Road. Upon arriving at the scene, first responders said that they had entered the home and found a family member kneeling over the child who was lying on her back on the living room floor. An officer checked on the victim, who was still warm but without a pulse, and began performing CPR. Other officers found Ellie sitting on the couch and asking her what happened to the little girl. In response, she allegedly stated that she killed her. Police wrote in the affidavit. Deputies with the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office then arrived on the scene to assist with the investigation. A sheriff's detective spoke with Ellie, who allegedly confessed to killing the child a second time. The detective noted that the child first responders were performing CPR on Ellie's daughter. Ellie herself was lying on the couch. She stated she placed her hand over the child's mouth and suffocated her after the child was continuously crying. The affidavit states she stated she had attempted to stab her child earlier in the night with a knife, but she had not harmed her. A deputy did not find a knife on the arm of the couch in the living room. Defendant LA stated that she purposely tried to kill her daughter. During the Dolly ambulance, medics arrived at about 9:52 p.m. and took over performing CPR during the life-saving measure. During the life-saving procedure, the victim vomited and turned her head to the side. The ambulance medics said they observed no visible trauma to the child and asked Ali what happened to her while still performing CPR. The defendant Ali said that she shook and suffocated the child while smiling the entire time. CPR was performed, the affidavit states. The ambulance transported the victim to Ascensia St. Mary's Hospital in Detroit Lakes, but unfortunately, she was pronounced dead shortly after arriving at the facility. Arrangements were then made to have the child's body transported to the Ramsey County Medical Examiner's Office for an autopsy. Authorities booked Eli at the Ottertail County Detention Facility that evening, where she was interviewed by detectives. When they asked what happened to her daughter, allegedly, she stated for a third time that she killed her. Ali further explained the child's father had abandoned them, and she was raising her daughter with her mother, adding that the mother normally feeds the girl but was not around that day. Ali also allegedly admitted to punching her daughter in the throat to stop her from crying and claimed that she laid on top of the child while the child was face down on the floor to quiet her. Ali is currently being kept in detention without bond and will be represented by a public defender. Okay. So because the baby won't stop crying, the best thing to do was to torture your child to death. I just don't understand how this is not capital murder. I'm just being blunt with you like a cigarette. How is this not capital premeditated murder? She did all this just to kill her child. She admitted she wanted to kill her child. Not the first time, not the second time, but the third time. This should be premeditated capital murder. She choked the daughter, stabbed her daughter in the throat. The daughter starved to her daughter. This should be a case for capital murder. She needs to be convicted and sentenced to death. Because at the end of the day, she needs not to see the color of gray outside again. Either that or life without parole. This was outrageous. And I met a person who was just cowardly. Because the child won't stop crying, the best thing to do was to kill it. Well, if a child was crying, this could be reasons why your child was crying. Maybe she's hungry. Maybe she wants a bottle. Maybe she ain't feeling good. Maybe she need a diaper change. Maybe she need to be burped. Maybe she needs to be looked after. Maybe she need, attention and affection. Children will cry. It's normal for children to cry. So at the end of the day, What you did, like, and then you get a mug shot when you smiling. Well, I like to see you smiling when you're in court convicted of these charges. I bet you won't smile then. When that jury and the judge throw that buck at you, when they throw the max at you, I bet you're gonna be smiling in. You'll be seeing your what coulda, shouldas. Again, this is why parents, and especially mothers, in my opinion, and there's a lot of them out there that should not be parents because clearly they can't raise children, and they sure the hell can't raise themselves. And so, because they can't raise themselves, then they take it out on their children, and then their children become delinquent as minors. Well, it is time for parents to wake up. It's time to wake up. You lay down, you have children, you need to be responsible adults. You should not be taking advantage of your children. You shouldn't be applying your children with weapons. You shouldn't be abusing your children. None of that. It serves no purpose. And it is a crime. It is a felony. It is a punishable crime up to life in prison and or death. So at the end of the day, you're signing yourself a ticket and you're not just failing yourself, but you're failing your family. Because they're going to grow up as statistics. Think about that and think about your actions because they have consequences. And if you kill a child, good luck in prison because you will not make it. Knowing that you're in prison for killing a child, you will not make it past 24 hours. You will be fresh meat. You will not make it. You will die less than 24 hours in prison if they know what you are in there for. It's called prison. For short, it's called PJ. Prison justice. This mother needs never in life again to be released from prison. In the first place, she should never have children in the first place. But she laid down and had a child. And that father who abandoned this mother and this child, you are a low life. Because you shouldn't have laid down either and had a child. If you knew you weren't going to take care of that child and take care of your responsibility. You are a dirtbag. And because you ultimately caused your child death. Because you was not around, you let a monster. You let a monster. You left a monster around your child. That's what you did. Like, comment, subscribe, turn post notifications on. I'm gonna talk about one more story. This story, it's a little different, and I've been watching these videos on YouTube, and rapper, let me get his name. Rapper Boosie Badass. Well, him and his daughter is into it. They're beefing right now. And I guess him and his daughter is beefing because he said that his daughter is disrespectful. But here it says rapper Boosie Badass, baby mother says he's faked a beef with daughter to repo car to pay for attorney fees. My thing is this, whether it's fake, whether it's not. This is my thing about it. Celebrities make horrible decisions all the time. And what I mean by that is this. You cannot be buying your children expensive cars and think they're going to just listen to you. They're not. Once you buy those types of cars, it's over. Respect is gone. Because then they think they're entitled because they have a special type of car. You can't, this is the thing, stop spending thousands of millions of dollars on your children. And then your children will respect you. You're buying them things when they don't deserve it at a certain point. So do you really think in nationality your child is going to respect you? She's taking advantage of you. You're not even knowing. You got to use common sense. A pink bubblegum Mercedes. If you guys met a Mercedes Benz today, do you think they're really going to want to be your friend after that? No. They're going to thank you for that car and move on. You're not going to see them for a while. They're going to flex in the vehicle, show off the car to their friends, and you're going to be looking stupid wondering, well, I just bought this expensive car. I mean, you could at least spend time with them before you drive the car, or you could do such and such. And my thing is this. You know, if you and your daughter don't listen, why don't you sit there and buy a damn near $1 million car or thousands of dollar car? I mean, you make your own self look a fool. Common sense. Mm-mm. I just want to bring that to light because, I just think that fathers and mothers, when you are raising teens and they are out of control, delinquents, and committing crimes, taking advantage of you and your kindness, then you got to be more stricter. And you got to take things away that they love, such as cars, bedroom, shoes, clothes, designer wardrobe, all of that. All of that got to go. It's up to you to be a man. It's up to you to be a woman. But stop being friends with your children and then think y'all children gonna be listening to you. Because they're not. They're not. And you're making your own self like a fool, trying to be your children's friends. Like, comment, subscribe, turn post notifications on. Tell me what you think about these stories in the comments down below. Hit the cash app, money sign capital CPA 106. That again, hit the cash app, money sign capital CPA 106. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on Thursday on this channel. Also, I would try to post on my Outlanding channel today. I'm trying to get that channel back. And also on my content channel, I will be posting hopefully today on that channel. So I'll see you guys on Thursday. Have a great, great day. Peace. And that